What's up there, guys? Welcome back to Digger Detecting. Welcome also to a super exciting day at the bush. The reason being is because this is the first day back for me in over 2 months off detecting. And I'll tell you, it's been hard. It's been a long 2 months, a bit of a battle through that 2 months. But look, here we are, back out where we want to be, back out in our environment where we love to be. And it's not just about the gold, it's not about what you find, it's just the peacefulness, the beautiful Australian bush, the Victorian bush that we're currently standing in today. And look, with the GPX 6000 MINELAB metal detector there, we are going to get out and find a ton of gold, hopefully, and probably a ton of lead. But it's not about that, it's about the enjoyment of it all. I love detecting, I love metal detecting, anything in general, coins, relics or gold. And look, we love being out in the Australian bush, especially looking for the gold. And with today's current prices of gold, around about $6,300 an ounce. So an ounce of gold being 31.1 grams of gold. What better time to be a gold prospector? What better time to be out here in the field hunting it? Because currently, at this moment, well, when I looked there just this morning, it's around $208 or $209 a gram. So potentially finding a gram here today, well, you are looking at around about the $200 mark. So take out your expenses, what have you, of course, your lunch, I've got it packed here today, your fuel to get into the gold fields, but what great time to be a prospector, and we love it. Let's get going and we'll see you on the gold. Scared the heck out of me, that bird. Well, we've made it down into the creek, and look, what a stunning place, stunning creek. That's what I'm going to call it. And look, had a lot of fun getting down here too, and this is where I'm going to start turning on the detector. I never just generally jump out of the car and turn the detector on straight away. There's a lizard, because the reason being is you want to really know the ground. Look at the ground, search the ground, work out those best spots to hunt. And well, the creeks for me have always been a great one. You see a lot of people have been fossicking around in this creek here, and look, scratching out, getting into those tight packed crevices and getting the gold out, no doubt. And as I said, gravity takes its place, all the gold rolls its way down the hill here through the erosion, and it gets embedded in the creek. It will get flowed away in that next big rainfall, or next big gush of rain, where the creek is really flowing. Some gold will be taken away, but then again, you've got to account for what's coming upstream, and maybe more will be deposited. So I'm going to start in the creek, as I said, but ideally I want to get on those banks as well. So we'll work this little patch here, looks really good. We've got some heavies thrown out there, and then we're going to work our way up the hill, get on that first bit of gold, hopefully. Right, well, we've just got our first decent sounding target. I'm just going to sit the detector right here for a second, sort of explain what we did. So we were working in the gully, we're getting a lot of just, look, false signals. I just kept noise cancelling, ground balancing, turning the sensitivity down. Right now we're running on about 1 or 2 manual mode sensitivity, so very low settings. But we climbed our way up out of the gully, and we've just walked along these top of these miners mound hills here, and we hit a really trashy spot. And to be honest, I was thinking, you know, oh geez, it's been 2 months, I've been off the detector. You know, you don't forget these things. It's like riding a bike, you never forget. But I was sort of questioning my own ability there. I was like, you know, God, I've been detecting for 9 years. 2 months, you know, longest period I've ever had off detecting ever in that 9 years. And I was sort of just double guessing myself. You know, have I done everything right? Have I tuned in everything right? Am I sort of running the too high sensitivity just yet for this ground? Oh, get me breath. But coming through there, I got a real screaming sounding signal. We dug him, a little bit of tin, just rubbish, and I knew straight away, bingo, my detector's working perfectly. What are you worrying about? Stop questioning that. But then we come across this other really trashy patch, and to be honest, I sort of walked away from it because it's probably the remnants of a little miner's hut or something, his chimney there. It's just so much rubbish. But then coming over here, we can really hear this nice identifiable sound right about there, which will move the pick because that'll interfere, and we're going to give you a listen. But I just sort of explained that because 2 months off detecting, and yeah, you do sort of double guess things. Am I doing everything right? Have I got the settings right? You can hear this is really trashy around here. As I said, walked away from it, I did. It's probably a massive 20-ounce nugget, but there were signals. Where are they? Making a liar of me. There were signals all over here. There's actually probably, well, there's that screamer, but there's probably a nice little soft one back here. Maybe not as soft as what I thought. Alright, back over here, because that's not what we're looking at anymore. And as I said, getting away from that trashy area, I just sort of thought I'd come over this side, and we can hear this one. And he seems to be sort of like packed up against that rock maybe. So every chance it's being gold. And yeah, we dug a little bit of tin, as I said. And you can hear he's more longer and drawn out. Now I'm going to call that as gold. Let's give you another listen. I'm going to call that as our first bit of gold. Or a bit of lead. It's not tin. You can hear that stretched out sort of wail coming from the detector. We have not forgotten, that's for certain. It's just, look, sometimes I said you take time off these things and then you're like, you're just second guessing yourself a little bit. And I did that to begin with, but yeah, as I said, lead or gold on this one. And I could confidently say most of that over there, apart from the 20-ounce nugget that we said about, we'll leave him for another day. Most of that over there will just be remnants of the old chimney or hut, or a million bits of broken up tin. So those longer drawn out signals are what we're chasing today, not signals like that. It's most likely hard rubbish steel. So let's get him out and let's have a look. Fingers crossed, everybody. Gold. Oh, haven't seen the gold yet, but just check out what just come out. Look at that. See so many of these in the, well, especially where I'm at in the Victorian bush. You do not want to disturb these guys too much. We're literally just going to put him off to the side and generally put him on the end of my pick. Oh, if I can get him, come back here. Pick him up and yeah, just move him out of the way. Because you don't really want to, oh, there you go, picked him out of the way. You don't really want to hurt them if you can help it. I mean, they are everywhere out here. There's a lot of them. And I generally like those rocky areas, so, and that's where he's pretty much hiding. I didn't mean to dig him up, sorry fella. But yeah, let's have a listen now. That was pretty cool. But I think the gold is going to be even cooler. That's if it's gold. Let's keep going. Oh no, it's a screamer now. Alright, well I called it wrong, I did. Let's turn that noisy detector off. Back onto Bluetooth. I called it wrong. I said lead or gold. Look, that's just the reality of gold prospecting. That's a little copper nail. And as I said, we are what I presume, or especially presume now, a little copper nail, right beside an old miner's, a chimney stack, a little shack, little building, little dwelling. I know it doesn't look like much room right here, right now, but you've got to take into account what it might have eroded away, and also he may have moved on or moved his dwelling, and then all this dirt got thrown on top. So we're in the thick of it, we are, and we're going to continue on. Boot tack for that one, copper boot tack. Let's see if we can get something with a bit of colour. Yeah, righto. Suspicion confirmed. See this? This is old miners' remnants as well. And I thought there was actually a brick in there. It's not. It's red sandstone, slate material. But yeah, look, the miners were living here, working here. Actual fact, we'll go a little bit further, we'll probably see another one. Miners were living here, working here as they were in all gold fields and looking for the gold. And the simple fact is some gold areas lasted for a long time. Well, look there, there's some rubbish right there, remnant of a bottle. And some gold fields didn't last long at all, hence why they got the name gold rushes. People, oh, there's another one there. People would just move on willy-nilly from field to field. There we go, pardon an old accent or something. But they move on, or maybe a wedge to split the rock. They move on from field to field, and as they did, these gold rush areas just become abandoned. And some, as I said, they lasted, I've read about some accounts where they lasted 20, 30, even 40 years. But that was mostly through deep lead mining. So the shallow alluvial gold was all picked up. That is what we're in right now, shallow alluvial gold ground. And the miners did not have to dig very deep for it. Wow, it's hot. I'm going to have a drink of water in a minute. But they didn't have to dig very deep for their gold, hence the name shallow alluvial ground. The gold was basically sitting on the surface, and that did vary from depth to depth, but generally, look what they called shallow, to be honest. They didn't consider it deep lead until it got over 30 metres. So look, that is not shallow to me, 30 metres, but look, this is prime shallow ground, what we're on right now, and perfect for that detecting, because the detector can pick up the gold and it's close enough to the surface to do so. But then some of these other gold mining areas, they would have dug down 200, 300, 400 feet, I've read about, and they were the deep lead mining areas, and that is generally where the towns existed for a lot longer. Some be it 40 odd years, 50 years, right from the 1850s right through to the 1900s. A lot of the men went to war, and then they returned back not long after to then dig more and go back out, especially during the recession, 1930. Times were tough, and gold was an income and a great resource to go and chase. Targets everywhere here. We've got another old house site. How cool. Let's keep going. All right, we're going to stop on this one. We do have a good target in front of us there. I said in that last clip I was going to grab a drink of water. And before we do anything, I think that is most important. You've got to be prepared when you're out in the Australian bush, Victorian bush. And look, just take what you need. Drinks of water, snacks, food, whatever you need, and take those breaks, because it does get extremely hot out here, especially when you're hiking hills and looking for gold and digging away. I mean, we've climbed about 4 hills now. We went through another gully there before you didn't even see. So look, we are on a good target right here, but first, most importantly, let's hydrate. Let's grab some water. Oh, that was good, very good. Might even have a little snack while I'm here. And I got the harness off, because you do carry a bit of gear on you. Just put it that way so that pouch doesn't tip over and lose our little copper nail. So we've got our water there. We'll just sit to the side, and I'm going to explain before I stop and have those chips. As I said, a little break. Why we've chose this area to hunt. Now we've come up the hill, as I said, out of the gully. Once again, the gullies are great, the sides of the hills are great, but I don't know if I've got it in me to be straddling sides of gullies and hills right now. Well, we're on a hill, but not the gullies. So let's stay on the hill here, and it is pretty steep, and that is a great indication, well, a great recipe for gold, I should say, to come on down the hill and find its way embedded in some of these areas. And what's important about this area, most importantly, is the bedrock exposed. So we're going to take you up here a little bit further and show you. But with that bedrock exposed, and it generally all runs sort of contour, north-south basically, following the fault lines and the crack lines in geological formation. And as you can see, it's doing it just right here. It's perfect. And basically what that does is it's a natural sluice. The gold comes its way down the hill, and there's nothing to say there's not gold tucked up in amongst all these cracks and debris, and it would just be a matter of swinging your coil over, or even picking it out with a crevice tool with a pan and taking it on down to the creek with some water and panning it off. So that is why I've chose this area. It is outcropping bedrock on the surface, so much so the tree's even grown into it, or it's growing around the tree. Rocks don't grow, trees do. All right, so let's get back to this target. I'm going to give you a listen. It's a beautiful day in the bush, and as you can hear, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I said first day back, 2 months, and we won't go into the whys, the who's, the hows. That's not important. What's important is look at where we are. Absolutely love this, and it's not about, it doesn't matter if I don't bring gold home today. It's not about that today. Look, it's got to be nice to grab some gold today, but if we don't, I'll still walk away happy. Where did my signal go? I had it, now I've lost it. We'll just clear that debris back a bit. And the detector's actually running that quiet and dusty. Oh, there he is. How did we get so far off course right there? I think I threw all that debris back onto it too. And he sounds like a bit of a long drawn out signal. It's very spiky in the middle there. Only reason being is because it's not very deep. So let's take a scratch away. We've got the massive pick today. The boys got me this pick for Father's Day. So it's my favourite pick. And well, I put dig it detecting in there, did a bit of wood burning, and we even put the date on the end when the boys got it for me. So I did need a new pick, and oh, I love it. But I've got about 8 now and only 2 hands. So a little bit further, I said, he is not very deep. Let's keep digging and we'll come back and show you, look what it is. Hopefully gold. It's probably going to be lead. I thought we'd gotten away from the miners' huts. Oh dear, another little bit of tiny wee bit steel. Wee bit, ready? And they're real funny little bits, or sounds I should say, when you get little funny bits of steel like this and they're all rusted out. It's like they dissipate with their iron gruntiness on the coil. I don't know how else to explain it, but not very deep. You heard how loud he was, but here he's got that sort of funny, to me he's got a funny sound. A really funny sound. Oh dear. So look, copper, metal, no gold just yet. We're going to get it though. Well, we are still going and loving life, trust me. Just trying to get me breath, and well, the sweat's pouring off. As I said, important to keep the bottle of water on you. And we're about halfway through ours now. This target here too, I'm just getting a lot of false signals, and you never try and get yourself frustrated over false signals. I'm simply going to fill this hole in a second, walk away, walk to different ground, ground that looks different, and I'll explain why when I get there. But you can see there we've got a pile of rocks sort of opened up there, and you can see that real ironstone reddish colour in the soil in front of us, and that is just that. It's ironstone, it's red rock basically, and look, it really does interfere with the detector a ton. You can really see it down there in that hole. But I'll just show you, give you a listen to what it does, and sometimes you can ground balance it out. Like it seems like we've got a target right there, which is our throw out. We've just pulled out from that hole there. But essentially there's nothing there, because watch this. You've still got a massive target in the ground, and is that even a target? No, it'll just be ground noise. And you could dig this hill and you know, continue digging this hill, but at the end of the day what you're actually hitting on is that red stained, broken down ironstone. There's a chunk of it right there, and the ironstone just really plays havoc with the detector. As I said, you can ground balance a bit of it out, but it can be, well, excessively hard to work through. But you've got to keep in mind too, where there is a lot of highly mineralised deposited items such as ironstone, quartz, slate, all that sort of stuff that you can see visibly on the surface, you're also in a prime location for gold. So yes, it can be hard, yes, it can be challenging, but if it's too hard, too challenging, that's where you swap from the mono coil over to the double D coil and you work the ground again. Let's keep going and find a new area. Alright, well I think we've done it. Here we are sitting on the side of a mullock heap, a miner's mound. We've got them all around us, excuse me, as you can see. And most importantly, what brought me over here is this jagged quartz stone. You can really see how jagged this piece is. Looks like an axe head. Basically though, you know, that jagged quartz stone indicating that it's come straight from the reef. And well, quartz is gold's host rock. So when the quartz comes up, sheds its way out at the top of the hill, generally on top of the hill, basically the gold comes, excuse me, bugging me throat, the gold comes along with it. So tops of hills, down the gullies, sides of banks, like we've showed you there this morning. No, we have not got any gold. That's okay. It's just about the fun today. But they are all great places to work, and especially around the miners' mounds here. And you can see, once again, another good indicator that I like to look out for is rubbish, glass. Because most prospectors, and I know myself, well, it can be easily frustrating working these areas, and you can get a lot of rubbish out. at the same time, because glass will generally indicate activity. Therefore you might have the odd boot tack, rusty nail, or even a heap of lead shot. But look, glass is a good one for me too, and rubbishy areas, because often you'll find not many people want to work them. So pick your targets, pick them well. Look, we're on the side of this miners heap right now, so this is every chance to be a good sounding signal and it to be gold. But if I was to go, a few metres in front of me, look at all the bottles that have been sat around the side. Like, obviously that's been dug out back in the 80s, maybe 90s, with the bottle club pits getting around. But look, that there, I would not stick the detector in there, or if I do, I'll show you. But crazy signals, you'd be there for the next century cleaning it all up. You'd probably actually be better to put the detector down and just go get a big bucket and a shovel and sift it all. Because it's not, like, how long do you want to spend? And this could definitely be rubbish as well, but it's in that nice juicy material, broken up quartz, the clay, all great bed, all great traps for gold, I should say. And they get embedded inside the clay. And well, as I said, host rock of gold is quartz. So you're digging into it, well, hopefully you're bound to find it. Let's have a look. Oh, I got him loose in the throw out. He's quite the screamer too. Might be duped with lead again. First try. Let's have a look. Alright, well, this is exciting. This might be our first piece of gold. And what a piece of gold. Look how big it is. It's actually inside. Hopefully that is gold though, because that's a cracker signal. And I will say, this is a very popular spot. It's like a little honey hole for all the locals, and we all just congregate here and, you know, dig the gold and have awesome days. Because I can hear a couple of blokes down in the gully behind me. I went about 3 gullies today. The first one you've seen, the second 2 you didn't. But look, there's a couple of blokes there behind me. They're doing a lot of yelling out and whatnot. Like, honestly, put my headphones and just concentrate. But I don't know if I can. Gold's a different thing, you know. It's hard to basically detect with someone on the gold, because, you know, you've got the headphones on and you're yelling out. And coin relic is a completely different story. And not to mention gold detectors, you can't be anywhere near each other. So no wonder they're yelling out to each other. They're probably like, look at all the gold I've got. Look at all the rubbish I've got. There they go again. But, you know, like coin relics, you can literally stand beside each other, walk and talk. Yeah, that's got to be gold. We're not seeing it. Let's zoom in. It's all stuck in that sandstone material. But yeah, that's gold, everybody. We just found our first bit of gold. I'm sorry you can't see it. I want to see it. And judging by the sound, that's a good size. So listen. And here he's got that long drawn out sound. I'm giving away my honey hole now. Those guys down the bottom of the gully are probably hearing this detector. And they're probably like, listen to that signal. He's got a 30 ouncer. Not quite. All right, that's awesome. First bit of gold. We're not going to know I've got the dolly pot at home. So it's a good little side mission, isn't it? Dolly pot that one at home. But I swear to God, well, that should be gold. Could be gold. Would be gold. Hopefully it is. Let's keep going. Right, well, as you heard, we just gave you a listen to what is in this bottle pit. Crazy, I know. Oh, there's more, there's more. Look, as I said, you'd spend a century cleaning it up, not really, but you'd probably pull a lot of hair out doing so. It can be very frustrating. Mind you, granted, I did read a story, Golden Gem magazine years ago, that article that a retired couple actually cleaned up an old rubbish dump area that used to be a little gold rush area. And it took them, I think it said it took them 12 months to clean it up. But after they did, they got ounces and ounces and ounces. Probably had to hire donkeys in the cart all the way, they did. I don't remember reading that, but look, it was a really cool story. There's a bit of glass. This could be rubbish. There's another bit of glass. Really cool story though, and it's just persistence, patience, determination. Look, want for gold, need for gold, whatever you want to call it. But if you've got any of those things, you really can succeed out here. I mean, there is a big misconception that, you know, all the gold's picked up, all the gold's gone. It's not true. I mean, also remember reading in one account that of all the gold picked up, especially since the gold rush, which is when it all started here in Australia, there is only about 10% of it gone from the ground. Therefore, 90% of it still remains in the ground. Now, what's actually attainable for the... Oh, this one's attainable. What's actually attainable for us as humans to be able to get and extract from the ground is another story altogether. And, you know, humans with detectors like me, I'm a human with a detector, basically, look, what's attainable for us to get in the ground? You know, I'm not out here to dig 200, 300 foot mine shafts. I'm out here to dig little holes like this and retrieve the gold. So, yes, there's a lot of gold left. Oh, this sounds really good. But can we get it all? Well, maybe one day with giant laser beams, but that's actually pretty cool. That would end like an old drinking cup. Pass me a beer, mate. But yeah, look, what's actually attainable is another thing. So digging those right areas, as I said before, explain shallow ground, deep lead ground. Deep lead's not really the areas that you want to go detecting. Looking for gold, not unless you want to work the mullikeeps or down from them. Maybe some gold is eroded away down the hill that they've extracted. Therefore you will find some. Plus rubbish. This sounds really good as well. And that last target, we literally got him about there, where the end of my finger is. So, and that, pretty certain that's gold. I don't know about this one though. Let's keep going and find out. He's done it, he has. I found another bit of copper wire. Oh, what a day. What a day. Sensational, and I mean that. I'm loving life right now. Let's keep going. Who cares if it's gold? Let's dig wire. Well, we have not went too far once again. We are really covering that ground with the coil. Really important to, look, what advice I give to everybody is pretend your coil is not the size that it actually is in real life. So that's a 9-inch mono COILTEK GOLDHAWK coil. However, I always pretend it's pretty much the size of my dig it detecting sticker. Look, about the size of your fist, really, you know, what, 6-8 inches. And I really cover and overlap that ground. That's how you find the signals. Because the gold is generally very soft and subtle. Not like the tin and the steel and all that sort of stuff will be otherwise when you run over it. So the gold is very subtle, so you really need to listen and listen carefully. Listen, Linda. And basically that's how you pick up on the soft sounding signals and get the gold. And if the gold is sitting on the surface, well, yeah, it will be quite loud. But this one here, and a great little spot too, just you can see the line of digging. So they've obviously chased like a top outcropping reef or what have you there, and got the gold. Getting the gold, and hopefully we're going to get some here too. But this one here, you can see is just down from it and downhill, which is important. What I said before about gravity taking its place, and downhill from a run of diggings where the miners were digging out, and they knew what they were doing. I mean, we come out here for a day and visit. They lived it, they breathed it, they worked it every day. So they knew exactly what they were doing. Don't ever discount the miners' work. And if they didn't chase a gully, well, they probably didn't chase it for a reason. Not to say you can't go up there with a detector and have some success, and you just never know what might come out. What the miners may have missed, because yes, they were good, but well, they're only human too. Come here, Pick. Whoop, don't hit me in the side of the head. And they did miss stuff as well, the miners. So you just got to keep working it hard, and attack those areas where you think or where you know will pay you off the best results. And today hasn't been about that. Just having some fun. The target's still in the hole, which is nice, and look at that tink tink jagged quartz. And look at the material we're in. So none of that ironstony sort of redness that we were playing havoc with the machine there before and having to deal with. This is gold bearing rich soil. It looks it anyway, that's what I'm calling it. Let's have a look. He's still here. Sounds good, Fred. Alright, let's keep going. I'll show you, look what comes out, and then, oh, it's got to be a break time, lunchtime, I reckon. Doesn't even matter, it doesn't. Look at that, there's the first bit of lead. God, that sounds so much like gold. And it's a big chunky bit of lead. Fair way down too. Ooh. Alright, so first bit of lead, we've got a bit of steel, we do have gold, and I got him zipped up in my pouch, and we're going to stop for lunch. Like that's enough for me for the moment, so let's put that one into the pocket, and let's turn the machine off just for a second. We'll turn him on to Bluetooth, and we'll leave him running, because I like to leave it running, because I don't know, otherwise you've got to start it up and turn it on and ground balance again. The machines sometimes too, I will say, it's like they've got to have a few minutes to, like, I don't know, calm themselves. They just get a bit funny, and they can get wobbly, yeah, especially in the first start up in the morning. I generally find that you turn the detector on and you just let it sit there for a bit, and I get myself ready, put the gaiters on. As you can see, I'm wearing today snake gaiters. They've just got the moss on them at the moment, but just get the detector ready, let it warm up, and then I find that it runs a lot quieter. You can sit there ground balancing and noise cancelling all you like, but it just give it 10 minutes, 5 minutes even. Let the internals warm up, I suppose, just like we need to. And it's plenty warm today. Let's have our lunch, and I'm going uphill that way, and let's see if we can find another bit of gold. Come here, sandwich. Alright, well, sadly that is about it for us today here, guys. For now, just look, I don't want to burn myself out. It's been 2 months off the detector, and to some people they'd think, oh, it's, whatever. But when you do it for 9 years or over 9 years, and you spend, days, a week, or if not all week on the detector, swinging for coins, relics and gold, well, you put yourself out of whack. Your body's out of whack. I need to physically get back to exactly where I was, and that won't take long, I'm sure. But today we're not going to overdo it. It's a beautiful sunny hot day too, so it's really taking it out of me, and we're out of water too. So we've just come down into the third gully. This is our last gully to get out of, and we've got to, well, get up there, and once we get up there it continues on up further uphill, and that's neither here nor there. Look, sometimes life is all about that, going uphill, and I'm quite prepared to do that. And just to reiterate there, look, I did share a video a while ago just updating where the boys and I are at, and just to reiterate, the boys and I are happy. We're healthy, and look, that's all that matters moving forward. Positive steps, positive movements, and that is what's going to get us through at the end of the day, and that's what's got us to this point. Not only that, but all the support, all the love shown through Dig It Detecting, through messages, inboxes, calls daily. Look, I cannot thank you guys enough. I really can't. So if only someone would come and help me carry me out of this hill, that would be lovely. But look, we can do that ourselves, and get back to the car, because I know there's a nice warm coffee sitting back there waiting for me in the thermos, and I can't wait to get back. And not only that, we've got some gold in the pouch, which is great. It's in the shape of a sandstone, a rock, but I'm certain it's gold nonetheless. And I'll throw a picture up at the end of this video once I get home and crush it. Things are a little bit different at home at the moment, so I don't have the setup that I used to have. However, we will crush it up, we will pan it up, as I said, tag a video or picture on the end of this, well, video. So I really hope you enjoyed, guys. Once again, I'm going to sit here and take it in for a few more minutes. I'm not ready to get out of the bush, really. Like, I'm physically exhausted, but well, to be honest, I could stay here for another probably half hour, just soaking up the sunshine, listening to the birds, and just enjoying the view. So really hope you enjoyed, guys. Once again, thank you so much. It is you that has got us to this point thus far, and it is you guys that is going to continue growing us the future and making us bigger and better every single day. So thank you. We'll see you on the next. Cheers.